Well, police are on the hunt for 3 suspects wanted for that fatal stabbing of a man here on the street behind me just before 1 this morning. Now, we've learned that the victim is in his 50s, according to paramedics, and it's also worth noting that this is the 7th homicide of the year so far in Toronto. That's down from 15 last year at this time. Just outside the Moss Park convenience store at the corner of Queen Street East and Sherbourne is where a man in his 50s was attacked and stabbed just before 1 a.m. The victim was rushed to hospital, and despite life-saving efforts, he could not be saved.
There is an attack on one individual. That individual collapses, and 3 suspects flee the scene, heading eastbound.
A fight on the street leading to a fatal stabbing, with 3 suspects now at large.
I live in that building, so I hear stuff all night, screaming, yelling, it's hard. There's always sirens.
Sadly, this neighborhood has had its fair share of violence over the years.
Always problems. If it's here, up at the convenience store, up the way, it's problems. Like he says, it's got to change.
This area resident says it's terrifying. She feels for the man who was killed.
Scared. I'm a young single female who lives alone. There's a lot of violence, unfortunately, in Moss Park. I wish there was more resources for people battling addiction and experiencing homelessness. And I'm sorry that someone had to lose their life.
It's a terrible area. Lots of people using drugs everywhere. Gotta be careful where you walk.
Investigators do not believe this was a random attack, saying the victim was targeted.
I have some very early information that there's a possibility they might be acquaintances of each other.
There are a number of surveillance cameras in the area, and police believe they will catch the perpetrators. If you have any information on who the 3 suspects are, you're asked to call police. And here's an interesting statistic. Of the 7 homicides we've seen so far this year in Toronto, there have been no fatal shootings. Last year at this time, of the 15 murders, 13 of those homicides were people who died because of a gun.